In today's coaching call, I want to talk about an issue or a principle that runs through almost every coaching session I have, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's a group coaching, or even in the workshops that I present. And that has to do with staying in the moment, staying present, however you want to word that. It has to do with not living in the future or not dwelling on the past. Those that are susceptible to anxiety, those that are more susceptible to overthinking things, tend to be very creative. They tend to be very intelligent, but unfortunately, they're so creative that they think of everything that could go wrong and everything that has gone wrong, and they live their life almost based on that rather than, wait a minute, what if I got up today? What if I stayed in the moment today and I took care of myself throughout the day as it goes on, rather than this kind of preempting the potential anxiety producing situation by worrying about it ahead of time. So I just want to talk about a couple of principles that we can apply to the principle of being able to be in the moment versus being in the future or living in the land of the past. And the first one is kind of already what we're doing, which is raising the awareness level. The more you can be aware, first thing in the morning, maybe that's one of the routines you're going to create, is I'm going to be aware of how easy it is for my mind as the day goes on to start overthinking, to go into the land of what if, or even to think about, I hope this doesn't happen like last time. Maybe one of the goals for you is simply to say, I'm going to be more aware, I'm going to be more intentional every morning when I get up, and have as one of my goals to create a new routine, a new habit in a sense of being aware of when I start to go into the future and saying, stop, I'm not going there today, and slowing that down. And I'm not saying that in an easy way like, oh, just stop worrying about the future. But I am saying that it has to start with an awareness of the fact that you do that and that I do that. And that when I can catch that, when I can find myself starting to go into that future place, I can say, there it is. That's what we just talked about in the coaching call. I got to bring myself back. I got to bring myself back to this moment. So first step, be intentional, be aware, make a commitment to saying, I'm going to do it differently. And I want to use an example of just taking a walk. So many people I work with walk their dogs, or they just take a walk for their health. But they find that it is kind of this process of I got to get there and get back. And when I ask them, well, tell me about the journey along the way, even if it was a 10-minute walk with your dog, they'll tell me about all the things they were thinking about or planning, what do they got to do when they get back, or they were getting anxious about something, anything other than really, truly being present on that 10-minute walk. So first thing is be aware. Second thing is create an intention. What do I intend to do today if I go on my walk, or I have a 5-minute break between meetings online, or whatever the situation is? What do I intend to do? I intend, for example, to enjoy my walk in a different way by being aware of my surroundings. I'm going to enjoy my walk by every time I catch myself thinking ahead or worrying about what's coming up, or even just thinking about it, I'm going to say, stop. This is a 10-minute walk simply for me to be in the present, to get refreshed, to enjoy the outdoors. Maybe in between meetings, being able to say, this is my time to kind of ground myself again before the next meeting. What do you intend that being in the moment, being in the present to lead to for you? Next thing is always take those slow, deep, focused breaths that I'm always talking about. And the reason I'm always talking about them, they're so powerful. So before you take that walk, you're literally on your front porch, you've got the dog leash, you're getting ready to go. Take 2 or 3 deep, focused breaths. Tell yourself, I intend to be present on this walk. I intend to be in the moment. I want to do it differently. And I'm going to slow my mind and I'm going to slow my body down so I have a better chance of starting to do that. So take those slow, focused breaths as a part of learning to be more present. And then picture, visualize, imagine what that might look like. Man, if I could take a walk and be totally present and not think about what I've got to do when I get back, but if I can just say, I'm going to take this time to enjoy myself, to ground myself, what would that look like? How would that feel different? Every client I've worked with over the 40 years I've been doing this has said the same thing. I can't believe how different it felt to slow it down and be present on the walk versus where my mind always goes. I can't believe how I'm always living in the future or thinking about and overthinking about things, even on something as simple as a walk. Next step, use all your senses. I suggest when you walk out the door, and again, using that example of taking a walk, or maybe the example of being at work, whether you're virtual or in person, telling yourself, part of getting grounded is using my senses. When I get ready for a very important call, maybe it's an anxiety-producing call, I always kind of touch my chair, I touch the desk, I smell the room, I catch myself being focused on the senses that help ground myself versus being in my head. There's something powerful when you go on a walk about literally feeling the ground below your feet, touching the dirt, smelling a flower, as corny as that sounds. It does ground you. It does slow the mind down. Those brain waves that speed up thinking and that create anxiety. So use all of your senses. If you find yourself doing everything I just said, and all of a sudden you're thinking about the future again, and you're worrying about what you have to do, and you got to get back to the office, just stop the tape, slow it down, say, no, I'm going to do it differently. This is a learning process. I'm going to condition myself to do it differently. I'm not only going to decide that I'm going to do it and what I want it to look like, and I'm going to breathe and slow that down. I'm going to use my senses, and if I mess up, so what? I ground myself again. Grounding yourself and staying in the present is not a one-time decision. It's an ongoing one, and you will get better at that. It's kind of like meditation. When you first start out, they say meditate for 10 minutes. You go, I can't even focus for 20 seconds. I always say, that's amazing. Most people can't do it for 20 seconds. Let's see if we can get it to 30 seconds. Let's see if we can take a walk and ground ourselves a little longer than we did last time and not live in that future so quickly. So don't beat yourself up for that. Don't say, I should do it like this, but say, I intend to get better and better and better at this. And then finally, be creative with this. Have some fun with it. Don't make this so serious. Tell yourself, I cannot wait to get better and better at not living in the future. Because in the future is where anxiety lives. It always lives there. It's the worry. It's the what if. It's the, but the last time I did it, it went like this. Hey, what if we just took the pressure off and said, you know what? I'm going to get better at being in the present. I'm going to have that be one of my goals. Not overnight, but a step at a time. I'm going to just be grounded. I'm going to use my senses. I'm going to picture it going well. And I'm going to begin to change the way my mindset is, which says it's safer to live in the future versus it's more healthy, it's more valuable, I'm more effective, I enjoy life more when I'm in the present. So let's be aware, make that intention of moving from the future to the moment, whether again you're outdoors, whether you're going to give a presentation, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're watching a movie. I don't care. You can be watching a movie and you cannot be present. You know that. You could be thinking about everything else, or you could be on your phone. How about this week? One of the goals of this coaching call is to say, I'm going to teach myself. I'm going to give myself permission. I'm going to be kind to myself, but I'm going to be firm with myself that I want to start doing this different. I want to live in the moment. I want to live in the present. That doesn't mean I don't plan. Doesn't mean I don't think about the future in terms of what are some of the steps I want to do, but that's different than overthinking and worrying about the future. That's just planning. And planning is very different than worry and being anxious. So I encourage you this week and on a daily basis, and setting an alarm on your phone that says, there's the reminder for me to take a breath and to be present, to slow my mind down, to slow those brain waves down that create anxiety so I can be in the moment. I look forward to